After the college entrance exams, my boyfriend planned to go hiking with a few of his childhood friends. I tried to talk him out of it, warning that there might be a heavy storm. A landslide occurred, and his childhood sweetheart died on the spot. My boyfriend and I went to the same university, and after graduation, we started discussing marriage. But on our wedding day, my fiancé plunged a knife into my heart, staining the white veil crimson with blood. If only I had gone hiking with Ching Ching that day, she wouldn't have died. I would have done everything in my power to save her. So, it was his childhood sweetheart who truly held the key to his heart. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in the time right after the college entrance exams. Johi, I'm going hiking with a few of my childhood friends tomorrow. Alright, have fun. 1. Chin Ran and I were sitting across from each other in the bubble tea shop. Johi, I'm going hiking with a few of my childhood friends tomorrow. I replied calmly. Alright, have fun. Chin Ran nodded and added, I'll treat you to KFC in a bit, then I'll drive you home after. No, thank you, I declined. Meeting his gaze, I added, there's something I need to tell you. What is it? We need to break up. Chin Ran was stunned for a moment, and when he came to his senses, he was furious. What are you making a fuss about now? We're going hiking tomorrow, guys and girls. We've all grown up together since we were kids, we're all good friends. I smiled at his explanation. I'm not making a fuss, I just don't think we're right for each other. Let's break up. Chin Ran stood up angrily. Fine, if that's what you want, we're done. I don't think we're a good match either. You're petty, spineless, and you never make an effort with your appearance. You're not good enough for me. With that, Chin Ran turned and walked away. I paid no mind to his words, feeling nothing but joy in my heart. In this lifetime, I was finally free of him. 2. Chin Ran and I started dating in our final year of high school. In our second year, with my first crush blossoming, I was drawn to his sunny, handsome looks and that little bit of charm from his top math grades. He thought well of me in our second year, and after the final year began, he wrote me a love letter, and just like that, we became a couple. Throughout our final year of high school, we studied together and would occasionally hang out during breaks, sipping bubble tea and eating fried chicken as we daydreamed about our future. After the college entrance exams, the first time we met was to estimate our scores and choose universities and majors. The second time we met was today, in my past life, on this very day, after he said he was going hiking with his childhood friend. I took out my phone to double-check the weather forecast before advising him not to go. The weather's been terrible lately, and there's a high chance of heavy rain over the next 2 days. He decided not to go, and he told everyone in his childhood friends group chat right in front of me. The next day, his childhood friends went anyway. They got caught in the heavy rain, which triggered a landslide. His childhood sweetheart, Wei Qing, died on the spot. 2 other close friends were seriously injured, and 2 more sustained minor injuries. After that, Chin Ran never mentioned his childhood friends in front of me again. We attended university together, studying and falling in love along the way. Over those 4 years, our relationship grew steady and strong. After graduation, marriage was the natural next step for us. I truly believed Chin Ran and I would be together for life, spending our days in quiet, ordinary happiness like any other couple. But on our wedding day, Chin Ran came into the dressing room, suddenly pulled out a knife, and plunged it straight into my heart. The white veil was stained a shocking crimson. He looked at my astonished face and began to speak slowly. You're the one who killed Ching Ching. If I had gone hiking with Ching Ching that day, she would still be alive. I'll do everything in my power to save her. You're the one who stopped me. This is all your fault. It suddenly dawned on me. So, his childhood sweetheart was the true apple of his eye. Watching him snarl as he pulled out the knife and stabbed, repeating the motion over and over, I slowly closed my eyes and smiled. This time, I won't advise or stand in your way. Go climb that mountain. Go save your childhood sweetheart. In this lifetime, I wish you two would be stuck together forever. 3. After I got home, I said to my parents, I don't want to apply to Jilin University anymore. I want to apply to Xiamen University. In my past life, Chin Ran and I both attended Jilin University. Before this day in my past life, Chin Ran and I had also agreed to apply to Jilin University, and that was the school I had told my parents I wanted to attend. What made you change your mind all of a sudden? My mom asked, surprised. I said I'd been looking into Xiamen University recently, and after comparing my options, I'd rather go there. Alright, Xiamen University is a great school too. I'll help you look at the majors, and we'll apply there when the time comes. My dad agreed. I nodded. In this life, I don't know if Chin Ran will get into Jilin University, or rather, will he even live long enough to have the chance. but all of that has nothing to do with me anymore. I want to live earnestly, to climb higher and see the world. 4. The next day, at 7 in the morning, the sun was shining and the weather was lovely, but then, just after 10 o'clock, the sky suddenly grew dark with heavy clouds, and in no time, a fierce storm was raging. I saw the news around 2 in the afternoon. There had been a landslide on a mountain in the outlying county, trapping some tourists. Rescue teams had already headed up the mountain. I thought of Chin Ran and his childhood friends. I felt no speculation, no worry, only a sense that everything that happened was the will of heaven, preordained by fate. After that, I stopped paying attention to the news. A little after 10 in the evening, just as I had finished showering and was getting ready for bed, I got a call from my good friend Su Tian. Su Tian was my desk mate in our final year of high school, and she knew all about my relationship with Chin Ran. Zhou, hurry, get to the hospital, your boyfriend's been hurt, Su Tian said anxiously. He Ji called me. He said he went hiking with Chin Ran and the others today, and they got caught in a sudden downpour that triggered a landslide. They're all injured. He Ji said his injuries aren't serious, just a graze on his forehead, but Chin Ran got the worst of it. It seems like one of his legs. Su Tian was too distraught to finish the sentence. Perhaps she didn't know the specifics herself. I know He Ji. He was in the class next to ours during our final year of high school. He and Su Tian met at the school sports meet in our first year, and they've been on good terms ever since. Actually, all of Chin Ran's childhood friends are taking the college entrance exam this year too. Some are at our No. 1 high school, others are at No. 6 and No. 8. Wei Qing, for instance, is at No. 8. Unable to connect with Su Tian's emotional state, I replied matter-of-factly, Tian, Chin Ran and I broke up. What? She asked, stunned. After a moment, her tone softened. Well, in that case, there's no need to go to the hospital. Zhou, I'm sorry, I didn't know you two had broken up. It's fine. 5. The next time I heard from Chin Ran was 3 days later. In the class group chat, the class monitor sent a message. Everyone, Chin Ran from our class has been injured in an accident. I'm planning to organize a visit to see him tomorrow. We'll meet at 9 a.m. If you're free or would like to go, please let me know so I can add you to the list. After reading the message, I decided not to go, but then, Su Tian sent me a private message. Zhou, I found out. Chin Ran's face is disfigured, there's a long scar, and his left leg is useless. He Ji said Chin Ran had his lower leg amputated. He'll have to use crutches from now on. And get this, Chin Ran got hurt so badly because he was saving someone named Wei Qing. I heard that when a tree fell, Chin Ran shielded Wei Qing with his own body. A broken branch scraped across Chin Ran's face and grazed Wei Qing's arm. After reading this, I felt nothing inside, since they were people I didn't care about. And I'd never witnessed such a scene myself. I couldn't muster any empathy or dwell on it. Then, Su Tian sent another message. Zhou, let's go to the hospital tomorrow. Even though you and Chin Ran broke up, you're still classmates. He's seriously injured, so it's only right to go and show you care. Just as I was about to reply no, a new message notification popped up. It was a private message from the class monitor. Zhou He. Chin Ran says he has a few books at your place and wants you to bring them to him tomorrow. I blocked Chin Ran's number and all his social media accounts the day we broke up. Come to think of it, I do have a few of his books here. Well, I guess I have no choice but to go tomorrow. The next day, I met Su Tian at the bus stop, and we went together to the hospital entrance to meet up with the class monitor and the others. In the private hospital room, Chin Ran lay in bed, his left cheek was bandaged. And he wore a loose hospital gown, with the hint of another bandage visible on his chest. His left leg was tucked under the covers, while his right leg was exposed. Wei Qing sat by the bedside, chatting with classmates while feeding Chin Ran small pieces of apple. Hi everyone, I'm Wei Qing. Chin Ran and I go way back. I'm from No. 8 high school. Thank you all for coming to see Chin Ran. Chin Ran is quite seriously injured. And his wounds. Wei Qing trailed off, taking Chin Ran's hand in hers. Her voice growing somber. They're because of me. It's all my fault. I'm the one who got Chin Ran into this. Though weak, Chin Ran squeezed Wei Qing's hand firmly in return and shook his head gently. It's not your fault, Qing. Protecting you is what I have to do. Right in front of all his classmates, they gazed at each other with deep affection, looking utterly devoted and happy. Some classmates in our class used to know about my relationship with Chin Ran, while others didn't, but now. Even those who knew can see from this scene that Chin Ran and I have long since broken up. You two are so close. It's true that adversity reveals true feelings, a classmate remarked. Wei Qing immediately turned around, glanced at me this time, then looked at the classmate who had just spoken and said with a smile, "Yes, after going through this experience, I love Qin Ran very much. When he came out of the operating room, I made him a promise. I told him I'd marry no one else in this life. And that we'd be together forever." A few classmates nodded, offering their congratulations. Qin Ran looked at me then, his gaze sharpening. "Zhou He, where's my book?" I reached out my hand, holding 3 books. "Qing Qing, could you get those for me?" "Sure." Wei Qing immediately stood up, walked over to me, and took the 3 books right from my hand. With a fierce look in her eyes, she whispered, "Qin Ran is mine now, stay away from him." A faint smile touched my lips as I replied coolly, "Gladly." "Humph," she scoffed and walked away with an air of arrogance, but before she could sit back down by the bedside, 2 people burst into the hospital room. They were older, a couple by the looks of it. "Wei Qing, what are you doing here?" A woman adorned in gold and jewels, dressed expensively, scolded her. Wei Qing looked up, stunned. "Dad, Mom." The woman stepped forward, grabbed Wei Qing by the arm, and started pulling her away. "Let's go. What's his being a cripple got to do with you? Let me make this clear. You told me yesterday you're going to marry him, and I don't approve. A cripple, and an ugly one at that. What are you marrying him for? To be his nursemaid for the rest of your life?" Wei Qing resisted her mother's attempts to pull her away, refusing to move. "Mom, I love him. I'm not leaving." "Love him? What is there to love about a useless cripple? You little brat, get out of here right now." The woman dragged Wei Qing away, hitting and cursing at her all the while. Qin Ran lay on the hospital bed, struggling weakly and calling out, "Qing Qing, Qing Qing, Qing." The man stepped directly in front of Qin Ran, blocking his view of the daughter, and raised a warning hand. "Qin boy, stop pestering my daughter. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I will never, ever let my precious daughter marry you. You can dream all you want about marrying our Qing Qing in this lifetime, but that's all it'll ever be, a dream." Having said his piece, the man turned and left, overwhelmed with emotion. Qin Ran struggled once more, only to wrench his injury and grimace in sharp pain. "Ow, that hurts, it hurts," he cried out. The few classmates nearby panicked. "Quick, get a doctor." After our group left the hospital room, Su Tian and I said goodbye to the class monitor and left first. While waiting for the bus, Su Tian asked me, "Jojo, did Qin Ran and that Wei Qing get together after you broke up?" "I guess so, honestly. I don't really know. In my past life, I met Wei Qing twice. The first time was right after Qin Ran and I got together. One weekend, he took me out to dinner with He Ji and Wei Qing, and that's how I met her. The second time was during the winter break of our senior year of high school, on Valentine's Day, when Qin Ran asked me out for pizza. Wei Qing showed up too. Other than that, Qin Ran rarely mentioned Wei Qing around me. So that's all I know. 6. When my college entrance exam results came out, they were only 6 points off from my estimate. Since the difference was minor, after discussing it with my parents, we decided to list Xiamen University as my first choice. On the day I submitted my application, Su Tian asked to meet up. I ran into Wei Qing by chance when I went to the dessert shop on the pedestrian street to find Su Tian. Wei Qing was carrying 3 cups of bubble tea. He looked surprised to see me at first, then a smile played on his lips as he walked towards me. "Zhou He, you finished submitting your college applications, right?" Wei Qing asked me with a cocky tone. I didn't want to answer. "What do you want?" Wei Qing's expression remained unchanged. "I heard from Qin Ran that you're planning to apply to Jilin University." "What a shame. Qin Ran won't be applying to Jilin University anymore. I didn't do well on the exams, so I applied to a private undergraduate college in the provincial capital. To be with me, Qin Ran applied to the University of Science and Technology right next to my school. Even though UST isn't as prestigious as Jilin University, Qin Ran and I will be able to see each other every day for the next 4 years. I can look after him often too. For us, it's a perfect fit." At this point, Wei Qing asked, "Zhou He, are you envious?" I smiled. "Are you absolutely certain you'll marry no one but Qin Ran?" I asked, caught off guard by my sudden question. Wei Qing paused for a second before replying with conviction. "I am certain. I love Qin Ran deeply. Even though he'll have a scar on his face and will need to walk with a cane, I don't care. I love him for who he is. Besides, the doctor said that once the scar on Qin Ran's face has healed a bit more, he can undergo cosmetic repair surgery. The scar might even disappear completely." I nodded, acknowledging Wei Qing's words. "Then I'll wait until your wedding day for you to tell me. By then, I might even be a little envious," I said. "In this lifetime, my greatest wish is to see them end up together, I would be perfectly content if they got married. Without another word to Wei Qing, I turned and walked away. Wei Qing's voice called out from behind, "Just you wait. I'll make you see that Qin Ran and I are a match made in heaven." 7. After receiving my acceptance letter from Xiamen University, my mom and I went on a 2-week trip. When we got back, I stayed at my uncle's place for a while. I helped my grandma with some light housework and did her laundry, and she cooked me lots of delicious meals. In September, I stepped through the gates of Xiamen University and began my college life. Meeting new classmates and teachers, and adjusting to university life, I was very busy that semester, but also very happy. During the spring festival, I ran into Qin Ran by chance while I was out shopping before the new year. The scar on his face was quite noticeable, but not frightening. He looked at me for a moment, then came hobbling towards me, leaning on a cane. "When did you get back?" he asked. "Last week." I replied flatly. He gave a light chuckle, a hint of disdain in his eyes. "How's Jilin University? Lonely being on your own?" "I'm not at Jilin University." Qin Ran's expression turned awkward, then he asked, "So, which school do you go to?" I didn't answer. "That's none of your business." By now, Qin Ran must have sensed my coldness and distance, and his anger began to rise. "Zhou He, you're still so petty. I just fell out of love with you and got together with Qingqing. Is it really necessary for you to act like this?" I was speechless at his tirade and just laughed. Qin Ran added, "Zhou He, let me tell you, this kind of behavior shows a real lack of character, and looking at you now, you're still as weak-willed as ever. You're definitely going to be lonely and miserable at university." I couldn't be bothered to argue, so I just smiled and nodded, playing along. To my surprise, my reaction only emboldened Qin Ran, and he started pushing his luck. He boasted, "Qingqing and I both go to university in the provincial capital. Our campuses are right next to each other, super close. I have some mobility issues, so my parents rented an apartment for me off campus. Qingqing lives with me. She takes care of me every day, even cooks for me. I occasionally help tutor her with her studies. We're doing really well together." Qin Ran suddenly sighed with emotion. It wasn't until I was with Qingqing that I truly understood what happiness is. And what it means to find the right person. "Zhou He, you can't hold a candle to Qingqing, not even a little." After that jab, Qin Ran took a step forward and asked abruptly, "Do you envy the life Qingqing and I have?" I smiled and shot back, "I have clear skin and all my limbs intact. Do you envy that?" In an instant, Qin Ran's expression tightened. Satisfied, I turned and left. 8. My university life was fulfilling, with studying during the term and part-time work during the holidays. My strong academic performance caught the attention of several professors in my major, who recommended me for some large-scale professional lectures and field studies. I also took full advantage of numerous on-campus activities and learning resources to expand my knowledge and gain hands-on experience. In the second semester of my junior year, my roommate Zhao Yan remarked, "Zhou He, in terms of your breadth of knowledge, professional skills, and overall capability, you're the strongest in our dorm." I modestly brushed off the compliment. This summer, I went back home. The summer heat kept most people indoors during the day in our small town, but the nights were a different story. The night market buzzed with life, and the square was filled with people strolling, dancing, and plenty of children's play areas. That evening, while I was taking a walk with my mom in the square, I spotted Qin Ran and Wei Qing. They were just a short distance ahead of me. But they weren't standing together. "Qingqing, don't walk so fast, wait for me," Qin Ran said, limping as he tried to catch up to Wei Qing. After taking a few steps, Wei Qing suddenly stopped and turned around. "If you can't walk properly, you shouldn't have come out. Look at you, you're worse off than an old man." Qin Ran walked up to Wei Qing, his face looking grim under the streetlight. "Are you sick of me?" Wei Qing immediately looked around, then answered awkwardly, "No, I'm just feeling a bit on edge. I didn't want to come out today. You're the one who insisted, so I'm a little irritable." Wei Qing didn't look at Qin Ran once while saying this. Qin Ran reached out a hand, placing it on Wei Qing's shoulder, and began to coax her. "All right, it was my fault. I wanted to bring you out to buy something. My mom gave me 1,000 yuan this afternoon. I wanted to buy you a dress." Wei Qing's head snapped up. "Really?" Qin Ran nodded, overjoyed. Wei Qing threw her arms around Qin Ran. "You're the best, Qin Ran. I love you. I love you too, sweetheart." After a brief embrace, Wei Qing spoke again. "Let's go check out the square over there. They have stalls selling dresses. They're just street vendors, but a few of them have really nice dress styles. Let's go pick some out." "Alright, let's go." Watching their figures walk away side by side, I smiled. "Xiaohe, what are you smiling about?" My mom asked me. I saw two of my classmates, I replied. They've been dating for years and are still going strong. My mom smiled too. That kind of bond is solid, being classmates. They know each other inside and out. They're sure to get married. Yeah, I agreed. 9. In my senior year, I started an internship, the following spring, during the campus recruitment season. Zhao Yan and I went to a university job fair. When I saw the name of one particular company, I stood rooted to the spot, lost in thought for a long time. This company was a Fortune 500 giant, a major industry player. In my past life, after Qin Ran and I graduated, this was the very company where we had worked. I was killed by Qin Ran after working for just over 2 years. This organization offers excellent benefits, has offices in several major cities, boasts a first-class work environment, and has a fantastic office atmosphere. But in this life, I have no intention of choosing this company. It's just a surprise to see it here and now. After I snapped out of it, Zhao Yan asked me, Zhou He, are you interested in applying to this company? I shook my head. No. Zhao Yan didn't dwell on it. Let's look at some other options then. Yeah. In the end, Zhao Yan and I chose a company in Shenzhen. After receiving approval from their company representative, we finalized a specific interview time. In May, the final interview results came in for Zhao Yan and me, and we were both offered positions. Upon arriving in Shenzhen, I acclimated to the city's environment and settled into my new job. 3 months later, Zhao Yan and I successfully passed our probationary periods and began working as regular employees. I had just clocked out after working overtime that day when I got a call from Su Tian. Zhou, are you free? I've got some gossip for you. Sure, go ahead. It was a 10+ minute walk from the work area to the residential area, perfect for a chat. He Ji is in Shanghai on a business trip. I'm having dinner with him tonight and found out something. Qin Ran and Wei Qing broke up. I was surprised for a second, but then, on second thought, I didn't really have anything to say. Luckily, Su Tian over there kept talking. They had been living together for over 4 years and had built up a lot of resentment. Wei Qing looked down on Qin Ran, thinking he was a good-for-nothing who couldn't handle anything at home. She worried he'd have trouble finding a job in the future and felt he was someone she could never rely on for a lifetime, so she didn't want to be with him anymore. Oh, and He Ji also mentioned that Wei Qing vented to him, saying she felt sick just looking at Qin Ran now. As for Qin Ran, while he really liked Wei Qing, his emotional state was a mess. Plagued by insecurity and constant fear of losing her, he was always on edge and suspicious of her every move. Once, during an argument, he even broke Wei Qing's arm. She was in the hospital, crying and asking to break up, but Qin Ran got down on his knees and begged for forgiveness, and they got back together. Hearing that, I suddenly laughed. How could Qin Ran treat his beloved like this? Su Tian wasn't finished yet. And what's more, Wei Qing has had 6 abortions for Qin Ran over the past 4 years. Wei Qing's parents have no idea about any of this. I fell silent after hearing that. Su Tian continued with a sigh. I remember back at the hospital, Wei Qing swore up and down she'd marry no one but Qin Ran. Who would have thought it'd end up like this? Besides, Qin Ran became disabled because of Wei Qing. Given the current situation, Qin Ran has suffered a devastating loss. I don't think so. Because this is exactly what Qin Ran wanted. In our past life, Qin Ran held a deep-seated grudge against me, and he endured it for so long before finally showing it, by killing me on the wedding day. Was he trying to give Wei Qing a gift? That gift is my life. Now, I've let him have his way. He saved Wei Qing as he wished. As for what comes after, it must all be what he wanted. 10. That spring festival. I didn't make it home until the day before Lunar New Year's Eve, on the 5th day of the new year. While we were hosting guests, my uncle came over and told us something. Yesterday, 2 families got into a fight within our precinct. My uncle is a community police officer. He's on duty every year during the holidays, and today happened to be his first day off from his shift rotation. My aunt was taken aback. But it's the new year, a time for joy and celebration. What on earth are they fighting about? My uncle replied, it's all because of the 2 kids' marriage plans. The son from that family is disabled. I heard he got injured saving the other family's daughter. The 2 of them dated in college, but they broke up after graduation. But the boy's family felt the girl owed their son, and since she had promised to marry him, they went to her family's house to confront them. Uncle, what happened next? Asked my cousin from my aunt's side, listening intently. Of course, the girl's family wasn't willing to marry their daughter off to a disabled man, so they refused and told them to leave. The 2 families argued for a while, Then, the girl's mother was the first to throw a punch, hitting the boy's mother. The boy, furious, retaliated by hitting the girl's mother. The girl then hit the boy, and that's how the whole fight broke out. So, what happened in the end? My mom was getting worked up too as she asked. Both the boy's mother and the girl's mother were injured. And the boy's father fell down the stairs. He's still unconscious, so. How are you handling it? My aunt asked. Neighborhood disputes don't get resolved quickly. For now, we've arranged for people to stay at the hospital with both the man's family and the woman's family, waiting for the man to wake up first. The other injured people have had their wounds treated. They're going to be fine. No one else spoke. And then my uncle continued, that boy's family is quite pitiful too. He's their only child. And he has a disability. I heard he actually did quite well on the college entrance exam back then, but he ended up enrolling in a mediocre university. Finding a job after graduation hasn't been smooth sailing either. His own abilities aren't up to par, and his academic credentials and major aren't that great either. It seems he's been unemployed at home for over half a year now. Now the girl has left him too. I spoke with him yesterday, and he seemed a bit off his rocker, but when he talked about the past, he was perfectly lucid, so it's hard to say for sure. A heavy silence fell over the surroundings. My uncle suddenly remembered something and looked at me. Come to think of it, that girl is the same age as Xiaohe. Could she be one of Xiaohe's classmates? That girl's name is. My uncle thought for a moment. Wei Qing, Xiaohe, is she a classmate of yours? No, I shook my head. It was true. Wei Qing was not my classmate. The topic shifted away from me. After a few sighs and a bit of quiet conversation, my relatives gradually fell silent. 11. Back to work after the new year. I was swamped again. I was diligent and responsible at work. In April, I had the top performance in my department. The director praised me in a meeting, and I even received an extra bonus. My work performance was steadily improving. Zhao Yan, in another department, was also doing quite well. This hectic pace of life continued until September, when Zhao Yan and I suddenly had the idea to start our own business. After some serious discussions, we decided to take the plunge and become entrepreneurs. We quit our jobs at the big tech company and began our startup journey in Shenzhen. That year, I didn't go home for the Spring Festival. On New Year's Eve, Zhao Yan and I had hot pot in our rented apartment, wishing for a prosperous year ahead. We caught up on sleep for the first 2 days of the new year, then hit the ground running with market research on the third day. The entrepreneurial journey was tough, but we never gave up and kept pushing forward. One day in April, I got back to the rental at 1 a.m. After washing up and checking my unread messages in bed, I noticed an unfamiliar WeChat contact name, Lu Ziji. I had to think for a moment before I remembered. He was my high school classmate. I think it was during a university year when I went home for the new year. I was visiting my uncle's family and ran into Lu Ziji. We chatted for a bit and added each other on WeChat. But in all these years, we've never actually messaged. Lu Ziji asked me, Zhou, what's your phone number? I was surprised he'd ask for my number out of the blue. After a moment's thought, I didn't give it to him. Instead, I asked, what's up? I didn't see Lu Ziji's reply until the afternoon of the next day. Qin Ran is looking for you. He wants your phone number. A sudden wave of disgust for Lu Ziji washed over me. Without a second thought, I blocked and deleted him. A week later, Su Tian sent me a message. Zhou, give me a call when you're free to chat. I roughly planned my time and replied, I'll call you around 11 p.m. That night, I got back to my rented apartment a little after 10. After washing up and getting into bed, I gave Su Tian a voice call and we chatted. After we caught up on each other's lives, Su Tian said, Zhou, there's actually something I wanted to tell you. Okay, go ahead. It seems like Qin Ran has been looking for you lately. I was momentarily surprised, but not shocked. Su Tian went on, a couple of days ago, Heiji asked me for your phone number. I asked him why he wanted it, and he said Qin Ran wanted to get in touch with you. I didn't give it to him. Today, Heiji has been messaging me off and on, saying Qin Ran keeps pestering him. He feels really awkward about it since they've been friends since childhood, and he's hoping I'll pass your contact info along, but I still didn't give it. Su Tian then said with a tone of disdain, you and Qin Ran have been over for ages. What does he even want with you now? I was pleased with Su Tian's approach and chimed in, yeah, exactly, Tian, don't give it to him. I want nothing to do with him for the rest of my life. Yeah, I won't give it to him, Su Tian said firmly. Then, Su Tian shared what she had recently learned. Qin Ran is in a pretty rough spot these days, and he still pesters Wei Qing from time to time, but Wei Qing is too proud. She won't give him the time of day. On top of that, Qin Ran's father is in a vegetative state, so their family is now living on government assistance. Oh, I responded flatly, acknowledging the information. Su Tian also moved on after the conversation. After all, to both her and me, Qin Ran was just an acquaintance, a stranger. 12. I was still working myself to the bone, completely absorbed in my career. By the end of the year, our company finally turned a profit. In December, after Zhao Yan and I had paid our 3 employees, covered the office rent, and settled all the other expenses, we looked at the remaining balance in our account and broke down in tears. The following year, we kept pushing forward, and the company began to thrive. In July, we moved into a proper office building. By October, our staff had grown to over 50 people, and my colleagues started calling me Boss Zhao. Zhao Yan and I remained incredibly busy, handling company affairs, meeting with clients, attending relevant business conferences and dinners, all in pursuit of new partnership opportunities for our firm. In December, I attended a business conference and met a senior alumnus from Xiamen University. His name is Xinyu. He was 3 years ahead of me and is the CEO of a publicly listed company. We hit it off during our conversation and exchanged contact information. After that, I started consulting him on various matters quite often. We'd occasionally meet up for a chat since our companies aren't far apart. They're in the same district. The days passed by like this, with my mind solely on work and my only desire being to grow my company stronger. On this particular day, after finishing my business trip in Beijing and heading back to Shenzhen, I sat in the departure lounge and logged into my QQ account, which I hadn't used in ages. As soon as I came online, a notification popped up. I looked closely. It was a message in a temporary chat window, from Qin Ran. It suddenly dawned on me, both Qin Ran and I were in the same high school classmates group chat. I opened the chat window and started reading. Zhouhe, are you there? I miss you so much. Where are you now? I want to come find you. I regret that we broke up. Do you have a boyfriend now? Can we get back together? I have nothing to do with Wei Qing anymore. I don't love her in the slightest. She's just a cheap, promiscuous woman. I despise her. I hope she never has children. Zhouhe, did you see my message? Can you please reply? Darling, I miss you so much. I want to be with you. I want to build a life with you. I read them and smiled. Looking more closely, I saw these messages were sent last November, which is over half a year ago now. I didn't reply to any of them. I closed the chat window and then deactivated my QQ account directly. 2 months later, our company's net profit for that month hit 2 million. Zhao Yan and I were thrilled, so we threw a huge team-building dinner. For this dinner, I also invited Xinyu. He's been a mentor to me at work and had introduced me to some valuable contacts. We even signed cooperation contracts with 2 senior professionals companies, and those partnerships are now progressing smoothly. Everyone had a great time, enjoying the food and the fun. The dinner party finally wrapped up around 2 a.m. after all the colleagues had left. Zhao Yan headed off first, and then Xinyu drove me back to my apartment. Zhao Yan and I don't live together anymore. Last year, her mother came to Shenzhen, so she rented a place to live with her family. When Xinyu pulled up to the entrance of my apartment complex, I thanked him and was about to get out when he reached over and took hold of my arm. Zhouhe, there's something I need to tell you. I looked at him, signaling for him to speak. I like you. Can we be together? It was a simple, straightforward confession, and my heart skipped a beat instantly. Ever since I met Xinyu, I've had a very good impression of him. He's intelligent, wise, possesses strong decision-making and judgment skills, and has high emotional intelligence when interacting with others. He's a truly outstanding person. My heart swelled with joy. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to be with him, but then my thoughts turned to the company. It wasn't fully stable yet, and Zhao Yan and I hadn't achieved our goals. Would getting into a relationship affect my work? As I fell silent, hesitating, Xinyu seemed to see right through me and spoke again. Don't worry about work. I'll be right here with you, reaching for greater heights. You can still do whatever you want to do. Now, I have nothing left to worry about. Smiling, I reached out and hugged Xinyu, whispering in his ear, okay, my boyfriend. That night, Xinyu stayed over at my little apartment. 13. At the end of the year, I bought an apartment in Shenzhen. During the Spring Festival, when I went back to my hometown for the holidays, I arranged to meet up with Su Tian. The commercial street was bustling. Su Tian and I walked arm in arm, chatting as we strolled along. Suddenly, the two of us spotted Wei Qing not far away, dressed in a red coat. Wei Qing was walking hand in hand with a man, laughing and chatting as if sharing something delightful. Her smile radiant, I felt nothing stir within me. nor any desire to pay her further attention. Just as I was about to look away, a figure drifted hazily into my line of sight. The dark figure closed the distance to Wei Qing in what seemed like a mere 2 seconds. "You bitch, I let you live the good life. And this is how you repay me, getting engaged to another man. Die." The man in the black overcoat drew a dagger and thrust it viciously toward Wei Qing. "You did this to me. And you think you can just go on living a happy life, in your dreams? You bitch, drop dead, just die. I regret ever saving you. I regret it with every fiber of my being." As Wei Qing's figure slowly crumpled to the ground, Su Tian and I finally got a clear look at the man's face. It was Qin Ran, and the next second, Qin Ran suddenly saw me. "Zhou He, you should die too. Why didn't you try to stop me back then? You're partly responsible for what I've become. Go to hell, you and that bitch together." After saying this, Qin Ran raised the knife and stumbled toward me. His crutches took wide, lurching strides, causing his body to sway violently with each uneven step. I had been stunned that he had also been reborn, but as soon as I snapped out of it, I felt Su Tian pulling me backward. "Oh my god, he's lost it," Su Tian said in a panic. Zhou, hurry, get out of here, be careful." I followed Su Tian as we backed away, watching Qin Ran draw closer. Suddenly, my mind changed. "Tian, go, get away from here," I said, then pulled my hand free from Su Tian's grasp. Just as Qin Ran stood before me and swung his knife, I raised my foot and struck his vital spot. "Ah!" Qin Ran cried out in pain before collapsing weakly to the ground. The knife clattered to the floor. I lunged forward, slapping Qin Ran hard across the face twice, then snatched up the blade and pressed it against his neck. "Why would I try to talk you out of it? Isn't this exactly what you wanted?" Qin Ran was suddenly taken aback. "You too." Watching the dawning realization on his face and remembering my past life, I truly wanted to kill him, but it wasn't worth throwing my life away over this scumbag. I love my parents, and I love Shinyu. After the police arrived, I handed the knife over to them and explained what had just happened. After the police took our statements at the scene, Su Tian and I left. 2 days later, I received a call from Su Tian. "Zhou, Wei Qing is dead. Qin Ran is going to prison." Wei Qing was already gone by the time they got him to the hospital that day. "Qin Ran has been at the police station the whole time. The police will handle it according to the law." I responded. 2 years later, I bought a house in Australia. That June, Shinyu and I held our wedding in Ireland, surrounded by our closest friends and family. I was moved to tears as I watched the man before me slip the ring onto my finger. Back in Shenzhen, Shinyu and I threw ourselves back into our busy work lives. The following year, my company expanded once more, establishing a new branch in Wuhan. Zhao Yan went there first to manage it for a couple of years before it would be handed over to a professional manager. I next heard news of Qin Ran 2 years later. I went back for Su Tian's daughter's first birthday party in our hometown, where I saw He Ji and a few other classmates. While we were all chatting, He Ji brought up Qin Ran. Qin Ran died the year before last. He was bullied in prison, which later drove him to a mental breakdown. Once, when the guards weren't looking, he threw himself against a sharp piece of metal and took his own life. The classmates all sighed with sorrow upon hearing this. My expression remained impassive, and I said nothing. A week after returning to Shenzhen, I felt unwell. I went to the hospital for a checkup and discovered I was pregnant. Upon learning the news, Shinyu, who was originally scheduled for a week-long business trip in Hong Kong, returned home that very night. He took my hand and said, "Darling, whatever you need or plan for the future, just tell me." I looked at him and replied, "I just want to work as usual and take my maternity leave normally." "All right," he nodded, "then I'll resign. I'll drive you to and from work every day and take care of you at home." I understood that when he said resign, he meant hiring a professional manager to run the company. That way, he wouldn't have to handle every little thing himself and could focus only on the important matters. "Sounds good," I replied with a smile. "It's wonderful to have a soulmate." The end. Story 2. I've been with Zeke Liu for 10 years. We're getting married in a few days. Marrying Zeke Liu has always been my dream, because I love him so much. Before graduating from college, we started from scratch with nothing. I handed out flyers with him and lived together in a basement. At our poorest, we shared a single bowl of instant noodles, and it was then that he promised never to let me down in the future. From sophomore year until now, when he has become the boss of a listed company, we have always been together. Our feelings have never changed, and now, we are about to get married and embark on a new journey. I am very much looking forward to it. My friends were also happy for me. He personally oversaw the entire wedding process by himself, and the venue was the place of my dreams. He took this matter very seriously. He said, "Liv, I will definitely make you happy." So when I saw that black stocking on the slightly ajar door of the lounge in Zeke Lou's office, I couldn't quite believe it. Until I heard the coquettish voice of a woman and Zeke Lou's satisfied, flirtatious laughter, my footsteps suddenly became too heavy to lift, my eyes remained fixed unwaveringly on the lounge door. Out walked a woman with a disheveled collar, several deep red marks on her neck, and a flushed face. "This is Zeke Lou's secretary, Noah Lynn," and following closely behind her, dressed impeccably, is Zeke Lou. Seeing the two of them, it felt like being struck on the head with a blunt object. My mind went completely blank for a moment. When I came to my senses, my mind felt as if it were flooded with blood, and at that moment, the two of them noticed me. I even somewhat admired myself for being able to witness two completely different reactions simultaneously. One turned deathly pale in an instant, his face filled with panic. One was clearly frightened, yet unable to conceal the glee in their eyes. My mind was impulsive. I didn't even have time to ponder why she was gleeful. Just seeing her delight made me feel like a clown. I charged forward like a madman, raised my hand and slapped the woman. My chest heaved uncontrollably as I used every ounce of strength to steady myself, my voice hoarse when I finally spoke. "Bitch, Zeke Lou, explain." Noah Lynn was slapped, her face instantly turning red. Tears instantly welled up as she gazed timidly at Zeke Lou. Her words caught in her throat as she softly called out, "President Lou." My hands were itching again. Without waiting for Zeke Lou to speak, I stepped forward, grabbed Noah Lynn by the collar, and began slapping him left and right. The employees behind them all rushed over to break up the fight, but they were all holding Noah Lynn back, so much so that she didn't even get a chance to fight back. Zeke Lou's expression went from panicked at first to increasingly grim, after Noah Lynn, with tears streaming down her face like pear blossoms, cried out "Brother Zeke" once more between sobs. Zeke Lou stepped forward and pulled me away. He raised his hand and slapped me, and roared, "Lid Jiang, can you stop acting like a shrew and going crazy here?" The force of that slap was really quite strong. I was slapped to the ground, my cheek numb with pain. A continuous roar echoed in my ears. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Zeke Lou trying to step forward but being held back. This was the first time Zeke Lou had ever hit me. I took a moment to steady myself before finally lifting my head, looking at the female secretary hiding behind Zeke Lou, her face beaming with smug delight. My vision turned crimson with rage. I glanced at Zeke Lou again. The flicker of regret and concern in his eyes seemed genuine, yet, his guilt was equally unmistakable. Slowly standing up, I fixed my gaze on him, then I raised my hand and slapped him back. "You're really something, Zeke Lou." Tears welled up in my eyes in an instant. Zeke Lou anxiously tried to step forward to explain, but was held back by the person behind him, continuously crying out in pain from his face. By the time he turned around again, I had already vanished from his sight. I had been with Zeke Lou for 10 years, but giving up on him took only 2 hours. Those 2 hours included packing my luggage, the journey back from the office, witnessing Zeke Lou's infidelity, and enduring the slap he gave me. The moment I saw Zeke Lou cheating, I completely lost my composure. Suspecting something and witnessing it firsthand are two entirely different things. Perhaps it was precisely because I had suspicions that I could regain my composure now. Calmly packing the things I needed to take, I called a junk collector for what I couldn't bring. I even hired someone to help. At the fastest speed possible, I cleared out everything in this house that was related to me. I also threw down the keys as I walked out the door. I took one last look at this house where I had lived with Zeke Lou for several years, then turned and walked away, never looked back. First heard about Noah Lynn a year ago. Zeke Lou said the company had a new intern. My full-time job after graduation has nothing to do with Zeke Lou's company, so I don't go to his company very often. When I heard him mention a new intern, I curiously asked what was wrong. Zeke Lou frowned with an impatient expression. "She's incredibly stupid. A spoiled rich girl should enjoy her privileged life instead of coming here to experience things. The work is a complete mess." Hearing this, I became even more curious. "Whose daughter? Did they push her onto you?" Zeke Lou shook his head. "No, it's just that she submitted her resume as a graduate intern, and I saw her family information." I understood but didn't quite grasp all the intricacies of their company's internal affairs. I patiently comforted him with a few words. For a while after that, I kept hearing Noah Lynn's name from Zeke Lou's mouth. Every time, he wore an impatient expression, as if he really disliked Noah Lynn, but gradually, when Zeke Lou mentioned Noah Lynn again, He began to speak of her with admiration. I still remember that day when his brows relaxed as he said, "Liv, I really underestimated this little heiress. She looks delicate, but speaks with emotional intelligence. Today the company landed a big deal, and it was all thanks to her negotiation." I brushed aside the discomfort in my heart and responded half-heartedly, until I heard Zeke Liu ask me, "She performed well. Liv, what do you think we should buy as a reward?" I looked at him in confusion. "Isn't she an employee of your company? Shouldn't solving problems and closing deals for the company be part of her job?" Zeke Liu avoided eye contact. Yeah, ha ha ha. Have finance process the commission tomorrow." After that, I didn't hear him mention Noah Lin much. And I almost forgot about this person, until the day I was off and suddenly decided to bring him lunch at his company. Then I saw two people standing very close together in his office. The moment he saw me, Zeke Liu froze for a second, then quickly glanced at Noah Lin. He walked toward me in a fluster, saying, "Liv, what brings you here?" Having been with Zeke Liu for so many years, I thought I knew him well. His panicked expression made it hard for me not to be suspicious. I didn't look at Noah Lin and chuckled lightly. "Why can't I come?" Zeke Liu, seeing no other expression on my face, felt relieved. He stepped forward, wrapped his arms around me, and planted a kiss on my cheek. "Of course you can come, everything of mine is yours." I hadn't even opened my mouth to speak when Noah Lin walked over. This was my first time seeing her. She wasn't the innocent, fresh out of college girl I had imagined. Noah Lin was wearing a tight-fitting uniform, with the top button of her shirt undone, deep cleavage that was almost bursting out. The bodycon skirt barely covered her behind, paired with a pair of sexy black stockings. The black high heels made her ankles appear even more slender. I silently took in her outfit before finally looking at her face, a very young face, with no heavy makeup, very pretty. Noah Lin looked at me with an innocent expression. "Brother Zeke, what's this?" "This is your sister-in-law," Zeke Liu introduced. I didn't miss the trace of disdain and contempt that flashed in Noah Lin's eyes. She likes Zeke Liu. She even thinks I'm nothing special. I can see it now. The rift between me and Zeke Liu probably started to form from that moment. After getting home that day, I asked Zeke Liu, "When did Noah Lin become your secretary?" He replied to me, "It's been a long time." I continued to ask, "Why haven't I heard you mention it before?" Zeke Liu looked at me, frowning unusually. "This is the company's arrangement. I don't like her. Could you not have her as your secretary?" I looked at him seriously. After being together for so many years, I've never made any requests of him. I'm genuinely uneasy. Noah Lin is young and beautiful, truly possessing considerable assets. As for me, I'm already approaching 30. If Zeke Liu leaves me, I really don't know what to do. Zeke Liu's face darkened. "Liv, don't be unreasonable. Noah Lin has outstanding work abilities and was elected to this position by everyone." He said this without batting an eye. If I hadn't spoken to the previous secretary on my way back, I might have believed him. The former secretary, Xiao Chen, mentioned that Noah Lin was personally promoted by President Liu. At that moment, I only caught the flicker of disdain in Noah Lin's eyes, but forgot to notice what expression Zeke Liu had. I didn't avoid this question. "Zeke Liu, you will marry me, right?" He nodded, his face serious. "Of course, who else would I marry if not you?" Because of this one sentence, I choose to believe him. "Can you not get too close to Noah Lin? I would be unhappy." Zeke Liu smiled, the corners of his lips lifting in a leisurely, faint curve, so my lip was jealous. As he spoke, he hugged me, resting his chin on my shoulder. "Don't worry, wifey. I'll definitely uphold my manly virtues." But I never expected that Zeke Liu's first day of upholding male virtue would be standing me up, and having dinner with Noah Lin instead. He even lied to me, saying he was working overtime. What's worse, when I confronted him, he turned the tables and angrily accused me of stalking him. I burst into tears and asked him if he had cheated on me. Zeke Liu's response at the time was no. He also explained that since they got off work late together, they just had a meal together. As for lying to me, it was also because he was afraid I would overthink it. We were fighting a lot during that time. He was always interacting with Noah Lin. Once he even took Noah Lin along on a business trip. I only found out when they came back. I happened to bump into Noah Lin as she was coming out of his office. I saw her hurriedly buttoning up her collar as she ran away. I froze in place. Zeke Liu even frowned when he saw me. "How did you get here?" My fingers hanging by my side unconsciously clenched. "What were you two doing just now?" Zeke Liu explained with an expressionless face. "The water in the cup just spilled, and it got all over her." "Liv Jiang, what exactly do you want? You're really being annoying like this." My heart trembled slightly, feeling nothing but overwhelming grievance. Ask him why he went on a business trip with Noah Lin. Zeke Lu didn't even bother to explain. Think whatever you want, Li Jiang. If you don't want to get married anymore, just keep acting like this. One sentence left me standing there in shock. It also made it hard for me to speak again. That night, Noah Lin even added me on WeChat to explain, "Sis, Zeke and I really have no relationship at all. Don't overthink it, big sister. Please don't get angry. Anger will make you grow old." I didn't reply to any of it. Although this kind of provocation is childish, it's really effective. I started becoming suspicious and even hired someone to follow the two of them. I also asked colleagues from Zeke Lu's company to keep an eye on them, but nothing was found. I became overly sensitive, started arguing with Zeke Lu over trivial matters, and he began using overtime as an excuse to not come home at night. He looked at me with a face full of disappointment. "Li Jiang, what exactly do you want from me? I told you we have nothing to do with each other. Why won't you believe me?" I threw the glass at his feet, my fingertips trembling. "How can I believe you? Why are you always appearing in her social media posts? Why were you having dinner with her on our anniversary? Why did you still hang out with her after I told you I don't like you being together? You knew it would upset me, so why? Tell me why." Zeke Lu looked at me indifferently, leaving me with a deep sense of helplessness. "I won't be coming home recently. There's something at the company. You should think things over yourself." I shouted angrily, "Go, if you leave. Don't ever come back." Yet inside, I was screaming for him to return. Just coax me a little, just a little coaxing from him, and I'd forgive him. But Zeke Lu just gave me an annoyed look. "You really seem like a madman right now. Take some time to calm yourself down." With that, he turned and walked out the door, never to return. We had been giving each other the cold shoulder for over a month. In the end, I couldn't take it anymore and went to find Zeke Lu. I truly felt like I couldn't live without him. After we made up, Zeke Lu actually transferred Noah Lin to a branch office. Zeke Lu comes home from work early every day. He cooks meals for me. He takes walks with me. He feels incredibly distressed when I twist my ankle and takes care of me with the utmost attention. It seems like we've instantly reverted to how we used to be, until a few days ago, when I saw a photo posted by Noah Lin on my social media feed. It was a picture from a banquet. There were several people in it. She stood beside Zeke Lu. The caption reads, "Finally standing by his side." I actually calmly took a screenshot, then acted as if nothing had happened. "I'm about to get married, soon. I'll be marrying Zeke Lu, fulfilling my long-held wish, no matter what. She can't stir up any trouble." That's what I think. But when I received the message from Noah Lin, I still ran over in a bit of a panic. Because the message Noah Lin sent was, "Sis, Zeke is really amazing in bed. He told me you're so boring that he can't even get excited with you." I rushed to the office and caught them red-handed. Perhaps I truly overestimated myself, and overestimated Zeke Lu as well, forcing me to end this 10-year relationship so undignifiedly on the eve of marriage. That slap from Zeke Lu completely shattered all the lingering thoughts I had for him. I moved into the small house I had previously bought, bringing along my own belongings. This house was actually something my dad insisted I buy back when both Zeke Lu and I were starting to succeed in our careers. He even covered half the cost for me. I had lived there for a while before, 1 bedroom and 1 living room, ready to move in with just your luggage, very clean, also very lonely. I'm very afraid of loneliness. My mother passed away when I was young, and after I grew a bit older, my father remarried to a stepmother. They say that with a stepmother comes a stepfather. This saying is probably not wrong. My stepmother didn't like me much, and the family was quite wealthy. My father was essentially a live-in son-in-law. I could only leave myself to live alone outside. At that time, I was just in middle school. After that, I'd been living alone all along. Dad would send me living expenses, an alarmingly large amount of money, but afraid of upsetting Aunt Chen, he would only glance at me secretly. I think I lack love in my life. I don't like being alone, yet I'm afraid of getting hurt. So when I first started college, it took Zeke Lu over a year of pursuing me before I agreed to be with him, and I quickly became devoted to him. I'm afraid of loneliness. I truly want to be with Zeke Lu forever. The suitcase was placed by me at the door, lying on the sofa. My face was already swollen beyond recognition. The slap mark on my face was very noticeable when I looked in the mirror upon entering. Thinking back on what happened today, I actually feel like laughing. It really feels like a joke, such an absurd, melodramatic plot. Since I left, Zeke Lu hasn't called me once or sent a single message. I scrolled through my phone, flipping through the chat history with Zeke Lu. I've kept all our conversations over the years, but I didn't dare to look too closely. After all, the scene is the same, but the people are different. I deleted all his contact information. I immediately sent messages to my dad and friends. The wedding is cancelled. Since the wedding was just a few days away, it would be too late if I didn't say it now. After sending the messages, I muted my phone and tossed it aside. I really don't want to answer their questions. I'm mentally exhausted, especially after just having a fight, thinking about the fight. I even started wondering if I came out at a disadvantage. Surprisingly, the bad and sad emotions aren't as overwhelming as I imagined. I used to think I couldn't live without Zeke Lu, but when the time came to leave, I realized it wasn't such a big deal after all. I tidied up the house and even made a dessert. It wasn't until bedtime that I remembered about my phone. The moment I turned on my phone, missed calls and messages all popped up. Some were from friends, some from Dad. I glanced at the message Dad had sent. It roughly means what happened. Why can't we talk things out properly? How can you just call off the wedding when we're about to get married? I felt suffocated reading the messages and simply didn't reply. My friend Lin Jiao sent the most messages, with the latest one clearly stating she was coming to my place immediately. I scrolled up to read the earlier messages. Lin Jiao went abroad on a business trip and saw my message as soon as she got off the plane. She kept asking me worriedly what was wrong. Probably seeing that I didn't reply, she knew something serious had happened. Before finishing reading the messages, the doorbell rang. I went to open the door, and outside stood Lin Jiao, looking travel-worn, holding a bouquet of flowers and a small cake in his hands. Upon seeing me, he smiled brightly. I just knew you'd be here. The tears I had been holding back for so long finally overflowed at that moment. Lin Jiao was furious and started cursing when she found out about Zeke Lu. Damn it, that idiot. He even cheated. How dare he? What did he say when he was pursuing you back then? He changed his mind just like that. I'm absolutely going to beat the crap out of that bastard. I'll even get someone to stuff him in a sack and beat him up. Damn it. I'm so pissed I could fly. Lin Jiao has a fiery temper. We met in college, and she's witnessed all the hardships and struggles Zeke Lu and I have been through together. I didn't tell her about the previous conflict I had with Zeke Lu over Noah Lin. I don't know what I was thinking back then. I just didn't tell anyone. So now, when she found out about Zeke Lu's infidelity, she was both shocked and furious. After hesitating for a while, I still ended up telling her. Lin Jiao remained silent for a long time. Finally, she spoke through gritted teeth. Where are that damn couple now? I stopped her. No need, Jiao Jiao. I don't want to see him anymore. Every extra glance at Zeke Lu feels like a betrayal of my 10 years. Every time I look at him, I remember how he was fooling around with Noah Lin that day. Every glance makes me sick to my stomach. Lin Jiao couldn't stand my lifeless demeanor. Even though I told her nothing was wrong and I wasn't particularly upset, she still didn't believe me. After staying with me for 2 days, she dragged me out to drink. I thought about it. Since I had nothing else to do, why not go? Lin Jiao, afraid of the noise and chaos of crowds, specifically booked a private room. She had the next 2 days off and was determined to drink with me until we were thoroughly drunk. I jokingly teased her with a smile. People who don't know might think you're the one who got dumped. On the way to the private room, I turned my head and saw Zeke Lu inside. It was lively and bustling in there. There were many men and women. Zeke Lu didn't used to come often in the past, so seeing him at the bar was unexpected for me. He sat there sideways, his face expressionless, with the corners of his mouth occasionally lifting. A slender cigarette was held between long fingers. The smoke drifted upward slowly. Zeke Lu never used to smoke, because I didn't like it. I hate the smell of cigarettes. If he smokes secretly, I'll be very angry, but now, looking at it, I actually feel nothing. As I turned around and was about to continue walking, a voice came from the private room. Zeke, why didn't you bring your little wife today? Zeke Lu let out a light chuckle. Don't shout, just playing around. Don't let Liv hear that, or she'll throw another tantrum at me. I stopped in my tracks, actually wanting to hear what else they had to say. A girl spoke up. President Lu, don't you like Sister Lid Jiang anymore? Why are you looking for someone else? Zeke Lu remained silent for a long while. I turned my head suddenly, wanting to see the expression on his face. Under the flickering lights, I saw the corners of his lips curl up slightly as he spoke in a calm voice. It's not just liking, it's love. But, after being together for 10 years, there are bound to be times when you get tired of each other. A friend of Zeke Lu joked lightheartedly. Who hasn't made a few mistakes when they were young? Our Zeke is truly a rare good man, and he's about to get married soon. All his future days will belong to his wife. Zeke Lu smiled, clearly agreeing with the sentiment. The girl's voice rang out again, sounding quite persistent. But Sister Lid Jiang left in anger that day. Zeke Lu shook his head. even recalling Liv Jiang's expression when she left that day. He had only seen her back. And admittedly, there was a moment of panic in his heart. Soon, Ziklu regained his composure. Is she angry? Don't mind her. She'll come back obediently in a couple of days when we get married. She can't leave me. As he said this, Ziklu's eyes and brows were filled with amusement, as if certain that I would never leave him. I looked at him, feeling almost like he was a stranger. Does he know I can't live without him, so he hurts me without restraint? Lin Jiao also heard what Ziklu said and was so angry that she was about to rush in. I quickly stopped her. No need, Jiao. I don't want to have any more entanglements with such a scumbag. I pulled Lin Jiao out with me. Ziklu was really wrong this time. No one is indispensable to another. I'm not a fish. I can live without water. Wasted 10 years on Ziklu. How many 10-year spans does one have in a lifetime? I returned to normal life, working, clocking out, and occasionally shopping with Lin Jiao in my free time. Though the days were ordinary, they brought peace of mind. Ziklu seems to have been absent from my life for quite some time now. The date I had marked for the wedding on my phone's calendar is getting closer and closer. Only 5 short days remain. I calmly deleted the event. That day, my dad, whom I hadn't been in touch with for a long time, called. He said Aunt Sue wanted to see me. Although somewhat surprised, I still went to meet her. Unexpectedly, Su Yuan was asking for my help. This favor is neither too difficult nor too simple. She asked me to marry for alliance. The company's funding chain has encountered problems. She had no other choice. My dad told her about my breakup and the cancelled wedding. And that's when she came up with this idea. Because the Zhou family is a prominent clan, the Zhou family heir is 28 this year, unmarried, no girlfriend, and no boyfriend either. Su Yuan only then came up with this idea. Su Yuan spoke very softly. Liv Jiang. I've never once complained about the money your father has given you over the years, and if you agree, I can give you 1% of Su Corporation's shares. I understand the meaning of the first half of her sentence. She doesn't like me and won't let me into the house. Afraid I might bully her daughter who just started junior high. Afraid I might claim a share of the family property. Yet she didn't stop Jiang Chao from giving me money. By all accounts, she did nothing wrong. After all, Jiang Chao had no money. That money was hers. As for the latter part, that was something I hadn't expected. But you can still spare some shares for me. Only a fool would disagree. I nodded. No problem. Su Yuan was stunned. She didn't seem to expect me to agree so quickly. The words of persuasion she had prepared were suddenly choked back. You agreed. I gave an affirmative hum. What's the big deal? I'm 28 too. Time to get married and have kids. I don't have any grand ambitions either. After this whole Ziklu situation, I don't believe in love anymore. It doesn't matter who you end up with in life. The Zhou family seems decent too, though I don't know them well. At least it's better than those odd and unattractive options. Su Yuan, afraid I might refuse, directly arranged a dinner for the next day. Before leaving, I went to take a look at Jiang Chao. He was watching Su Jing do her homework. A picture of paternal kindness and filial piety. I glanced at them, said nothing, and turned to leave. Ziklu hadn't come home for several days in a row. He knew all too well that Liv Jiang couldn't live without him. Having an affair before marriage was his mistake. But he had only made the same mistake that any man might make. For all these years together, he had only her in his life. But after looking at the same face for so long, one can't help but feel a bit weary. He loved Liv Jiang. That was beyond doubt. That day, things got really ugly. He thought about giving her the cold shoulder. After all, they were about to get married. He wasn't unaware of how long Liv Jiang had been waiting. He was somewhat looking forward to it too. But soon, he would be with Liv Jiang for the rest of his life. It shouldn't be a problem to have some fun outside these few days. Afterwards, for several days in a row, he stayed outside. After a few days of silence, Ziklu noticed that Liv Jiang hadn't contacted him. I feel inexplicably uneasy. No matter what happened before, Liv Jiang would always lower her head to reach out to him, thinking that I was indeed in the wrong. So he took the initiative to lower his head, wanting to send Liv Jiang a message to ease the tension. Got blocked as a result. His heart sank, and he hurried back to the home he hadn't returned to for days. The house was spotless, not a soul in sight. Ziklu rushed into the bedroom. Everything belonging to Liv Jiang was gone from the dressing table and the wardrobe. He called Liv Jiang's father, but no one answered. He didn't even know where Liv Jiang had gone. When he called Lin Jiao, he found he had been blocked. He panicked and was about to send someone to look for her. Noah Lin stood beside him, looking worried. Brother Zeke, don't worry. Sister is just jealous. That's how girls act when they're jealous. She just wants some time alone to cool off. She'll come find you when she's ready. You're about to get married, there's no way Sister Lid Jiang would give up on you, she's just a little angry, that's all. Zeke Lu's restless emotions began to settle. Yes, Lid Jiang can't live without him, just throwing a tantrum, running away from home, and coming back in a couple of days. He loves Lid Jiang, and Lid Jiang loves him too. How could they ever leave each other? Monday is a work day. While still at my desk in the morning, I received a message from Su Yuan. The scheduled time is at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and the address. I replied with an okay. I asked my supervisor for leave in advance. I usually have a good relationship with my supervisor. She curiously asked, "What are you up to?" I glanced at her. "Going on a blind date." "Taking leave to go on a blind date? I must be the first one to do that." The supervisor looked momentarily bewildered. "I remember you were about to get married, weren't you?" I shook my head. "We broke up, the wedding was cancelled." "I almost forgot about it if you hadn't mentioned it." At noon, I went to the cafeteria to eat. There was an unfamiliar call on my phone, and without thinking, I rejected it. Most likely a scam call. Not long after, my phone received a message from an unknown number. "Lid Jiang, there's a limit to throwing tantrums. You're still acting up when we're about to get married. Hurry up and unblock me on WeChat." I stared at these 3 messages in stunned silence for a moment. To be honest, I haven't thought about Zeke Lu at all these days. Suddenly seeing news about him feels like a lifetime ago. It even gave me the illusion that I've already moved on with my new life. While he's still stuck in the past, I didn't reply, and directly blocked the number, thinking it wouldn't be good to be late for my first blind date. After all, it concerns the future of the Su family and also the money for retirement. I arrived 20 minutes early, but when I followed the directions to the spot, I saw a man already sitting there with his back to me. I panicked for a moment. "This early?" I hurried over. "Sorry to keep you waiting." The moment I turned around and saw his face, I froze in place, because I knew this person. He was Zeke Lu's sworn enemy. They had been sworn enemies since college. "Chase Zhou, why is it you?" I looked at him in surprise. Chase Zhou reached out and adjusted the glasses on the bridge of his nose. The moment he saw me, the corners of his lips curled upward. "Hello, Miss Jiang." I was at a loss, holding my bag, unsure whether to stand or sit. Chase Zhou raised an eyebrow, a perfect example of a wolf in sheep's clothing. "Ms. Jiang, are you planning to stand while talking to me?" I sat down with my bag, completely at a loss for words. I got to know Chase Zhou back in college because Zeke Lu had issues with him. As for why, I have no idea, but the two would fight whenever they met. I've only heard others say that Chase Zhou's family is very wealthy. Everyone calls him the young master, handsome, academically excellent, and particularly wealthy. Back in school, he was the epitome of cool. I frowned. "You wouldn't happen to be the Zhou family heir, would you?" Chase Zhou nodded. "To be precise, the man who is about to become Miss Jiang's husband." I was momentarily speechless, gave him a suspicious look. "You're already this old, why aren't you married yet?" Thought to myself, could there be something wrong with him? I don't recall ever seeing or hearing about this young master being in a relationship during school. Could it be that he likes guys? I didn't think much of it before, but the more I dwell on it now, the more it unsettles me. This young master couldn't possibly have feelings for Zeke Lu, could he? If I can't have it, then I want to destroy it. Chase Zhou sighed helplessly. "Lid Jiang, I like women." I was half convinced and half doubting. "I believe Aunt Sue has already told you about my situation. Do you have any other questions or anything else you'd like to know?" Thinking that things have come to this point, it's better to lay everything out openly. Chase Zhou raised an eyebrow. "No, to be honest, my family is also pressuring me a lot." I nodded to show my understanding. "Miss Jiang, do you have plans later?" "I have work." "Why, if you're not in a hurry? Would you like to go get a marriage certificate?" "What?" This really shocked me. "So soon? Don't you need to go back and discuss it?" Chase Zhou shook his head. "No need, we'll have to do it sooner or later anyway." "Right." I thought about it and realized he had a point. If both parties agree to the marriage, then it's a done deal. Getting the marriage certificate is just a matter of time. I nodded. "All right, no problem." Coincidentally, I've been carrying my household registration booklet with me these past few days due to some matters, but I still need to confirm it again. "Do you have no other requests for me?" Chase Zhou slightly raised his eyebrows. "Just 2 requirements, you said." I thought it was some business requirement. Sitting up straight to listen. "Once married, you can never divorce." Huh, I want what others have. I was momentarily stunned. What could this young master possibly lack? What? Chase Zhou looked serious, his usual casual demeanor gone. Loyalty and status. I stared intently at Chase Zhou, and realizing he was serious, I started to panic a little. With your qualifications being so good, are you sure you're settling for me? Chase Zhou laughed. Miss Jiang, what do you take me for? All members of the Zhou family are devoted and strictly disciplined. Our family rules forbid playing with others' emotions. Coincidentally, I don't have anyone I particularly like. And my family has been pressuring me a lot. Marrying you is the current choice. Since I've made my choice, I should take responsibility for it. I thought to myself, if Chase Zhou isn't afraid of suffering losses, why should I be? We hit it off immediately and headed straight to the civil affairs office after finishing our meal. There weren't many people, and shortly after, Chase Zhou and I each walked out holding a little red book. I stared blankly at the marriage certificate. My mind was a void, thoughts in disarray, and for a moment I didn't know what to think. Before I could even open it to look inside, the marriage certificate was taken from my hands by Chase Zhou. I looked at him in astonishment. What do you mean? Chase Zhou naturally tucked the 2 red booklets into his pocket. Let me keep them for now. I guess you can't come back with me today, so I'll take them to report back first. I thought about it and realized I should indeed go back to inform the Su family. I wonder if Aunt Su will be shocked by this news. After all, there probably aren't many people who get their marriage certificate right after a blind date. Just as I was about to leave, Chase Zhou stopped me. What are you going to do? The place where he held me was warm and burning. I instinctively looked over. Chase Zhou saw it but didn't let go. I looked up at him. Going home, Chase Zhou took out his phone. His glasses somehow already removed. His peach blossom eyes sparkled brilliantly, the corners of his lips curling upward. Add me on WeChat, wifey, blushing. I exchanged contact information with Chase Zhou. It was so awkward, and a bit embarrassing too. I ran away immediately after adding him. Chase Zhou said he wanted to give me a ride, but I refused. I ran back to the Su family's house. Only Su Yuan was at home. I walked over. Aunt Su. Su Yuan held a teacup in her hand. Looked up at me for a long while, her face expressionless, her voice cold. Did the young master of the Zhou family not take a liking to you? For a moment, I was speechless. Why not ask if it's because I didn't take a liking to Chase Zhou? Without hesitation, I carried my bag and sat down on the sofa nearby. Su Yuan continued to sip her tea calmly, her eyes slightly narrowed as if pondering what to do next. Just by looking at her expression, I knew exactly what she was thinking. It's just a matter of moving on to the next blind date if this one doesn't work out. I leaned back on the sofa, chin resting on my hand, watching her sip tea with the grace of a refined lady. She does have quite the poise. Her lips merely brushed the rim of the cup as she took a delicate sip. I spoke lightly. We just got our marriage license. The next second, Su Yuan spat out the tea in his mouth. He looked at me in complete shock. The corners of my lips twitched upward, and I almost couldn't hold back. You and the Zhou family's young master got your marriage certificate. Su Yuan was so startled she forgot to wipe the tea she had just spat out. I nodded. Yes, we just got it. Su Yuan still couldn't believe it and went straight to make a phone call. I've said what I needed to say, and there's no point in staying here any longer. I dusted myself off and walked away. It was quite amusing to see Su Yuan lose his composure. I took the afternoon off. With nothing else to do, I simply went to Lin Jiao's studio. She's a designer and has her own studio. Actually, she's quite well known in City B. I didn't tell her after I arrived, planning to give her a surprise. Just as I got off the car, I saw her standing at the door, seemingly on a phone call, with a somewhat unpleasant expression on her face. After hanging up the phone, she looked up and saw me, her eyes instantly lighting up. Liv, what brings you here? I walked over with a smile and took her arm. I have some good news to share with you. Lin Jiao led me into her office. What's the good news that's worth coming all the way here to tell me? I looked mysterious. I think it would be more surprising to say it in person. Lin Jiao looked at me curiously. Tell me. I'm dying of curiosity. I'm going to become a rich woman. Lin Jiao froze. Did you win the lottery? I shook my head. No, Su Yuan promised to give me 1% of the Su family's shares. Lin Jiao was shocked. Holy crap, for real, why would they suddenly give you shares? I blinked and whispered very quietly. I agreed to go on a blind date for her. If it works out, she'll give me shares. The air instantly fell silent. Lin Jiao's expression darkened. What do you mean? Did she sell you out? And you just let her sell you out? I grabbed Lin Jiao, who was about to erupt in anger. Don't be angry yet. I'm afraid you'll get even angrier later. Lin Jiao narrowed her eyes slightly. Under her gaze, I still spoke softly. Just now, I got married with my blind date. Lin Jiao looked at me expressionlessly. Lid Jiang, do you have a death wish? Marriage is a serious matter. Even if Zeke Lu hurt you, you can't do this. I quickly interrupted her. No, listen to me. I wasn't hurt by Zeke Lu. I was genuinely attracted by that 1% stake. If there's no love, at least there should be money, right? Lin Jiao nodded, looking at me with a hint of suspicion. Did she really not force you? No, no. Aren't you curious about who your blind date is? Lin Jiao pouted. Anyway, we're already married. I'll see you sooner or later. Come on, tell me, who is it? You're being so mysterious. I raised an eyebrow. Chase Zhou. Oh, Chase Zhou. Lin Jiao looked completely uninterested. The next second, she slammed the table, with a loud bang. Damn, who did you just say? I knew she would be shocked. Back in college, Lin Jiao was always super into all the campus gossip. Chase Zhou was the one she mentioned the most, handsome, wealthy, and with a line of admirers. Gossip about him is endless. There's even a post about Chase Zhou at school. The question of who will finally win his heart. Lin Jiao was so shocked that it took her a long time to recover. I sat aside scrolling through my social media feed. After a few swipes, I came across a post Chase Zhou had just shared, 2 brand new red booklets. There's even a copywriter, legitimate. There are actually a few mutual friends below. The replies were all, was the account hacked? It feels a bit funny. Lin Jiao snapped out of it and came over too. So it's true. Since I had nothing to do, I stayed at Lin Jiao's place all afternoon. During that time, Su Yuan called. It seemed to confirm the matter. Her tone had softened considerably. She told me the wedding would be in just 3 days. I'm shocked. In such a hurry, Su Yuan didn't explain further. Just said the marriage certificate was already obtained. 3 days later is an auspicious date, and both families had agreed on it. Then she hung up the phone, and I stood there dumbfounded. Lin Jiao noticed and asked me, what's wrong? I licked my dry lips, my voice slow and hesitant. Su Yuan said the wedding is in 3 days. Damn. So soon, I'm not ready yet. Lin Jiao suddenly panicked. Wait, hold on. Lin Jiao abruptly calmed down. I gave her a puzzled look. Was Zeke Lu's original wedding also scheduled for 3 days later? I fell silent. Seems like it really is. Chase Zhou called to ask me to go try on clothes. Lin Jiao is coming along too. She was the bridesmaid. When we arrived, Chase Zhou hadn't arrived yet. I decided to wait for him for a while, so I took Lin Jiao around to explore. Unexpectedly, I saw Noah Lin and Zeke Lu. The situation was extremely awkward for a moment. When Zeke Lu saw me, his eyes flickered with panic, and he instinctively let go of Noah Lin's hand. Liv, what are you doing here? I looked expressionlessly at the flustered him, then at the smug her. Shopping. What? Is the mall yours? Can't I come? Zeke Lu came up to try and pull me. That's not what I meant. It's just that I haven't seen you in a while. Lin Jiao couldn't hold back. Then why didn't I see you looking for Liv? Dragging that bitch around everywhere. You're afraid people won't know you're cheating, aren't you? Zeke Lu's face darkened. Liv, it's not what you think. I asked Secretary Lin to help me pick a gift for you. I wanted to give you a surprise. I'm really feeling a bit sick now. Zeke Lu, we've been together for 10 years. Is there anything you don't know about me? Do you even need to ask another woman to help pick out gifts for me? Noah Lin walked over. Liv sis, don't misunderstand. It was really Mr. Lu who invited me here. He just wanted to see what girls like and asked me to help him as a reference. I looked her up and down, ignoring her. Noah Lin bit her lip tightly, looking upset. Brother Zeke, it seems like this sister doesn't like me very much. Zeke Lu instinctively replied, how could that be? As he spoke, he walked over, his expression somewhat unpleasant. Liv, Secretary Lin was genuinely invited by me to help. Don't make unreasonable demands. I frowned. Feeling somewhat ridiculous, could this person have actually lost his memory? Zeke Lu, were you in a car accident? Did the crash knock your memory out? If you don't remember what happened that day, I'd be happy to refresh your memory. Zeke Lu's face darkened. I only want to marry you. Liv, you know that. The wedding is just a few days away. Liv, please don't make a scene. Okay. I silently looked at him for a long moment. Zeke Lu already had wrinkles at the corners of his eyes. And his figure had slightly changed. He used to be quite fit and had a delicate, handsome appearance. I don't know when he became like this. It seems I only realized it today. What is there to like about someone like him? I smiled. Okay. Zeke Lu, with a smile in his eyes, stepped forward and took my hand. Liv, I'll treat you well from now on. Marry me, and you'll undoubtedly become the happiest bride in the world. I gave a faint, ambiguous smile as I glanced at Noah Lin's pale face. I will. It's just that I didn't marry you. Zeke Lu asked me when I was coming home. Time to move back, but I brushed it off. It's not appropriate to meet before the wedding. Noah Lin had already run away when we were discussing marriage. Zeke Lu just glanced over and didn't chase after her. I had to add him back on WeChat. Only after sending him away did Lin Jiao speak. Why won't you let me speak? Don't tell me you've actually changed your mind. I pulled her back, laughing happily, just messing with him, that's all. Returning to the agreed meeting spot with Lin Jiao, Chase Zhou was already there. Today, he was dressed casually, black t-shirt, blue jeans, and half-rimmed glasses, honestly. He totally gave off the vibe of a college guy. Lin Jiao gripped my arm, her hold a bit too tight. He leaned in close to my ear and roared in a low voice, "Holy crap, that's so damn cool, oh my god, look at his arms, total muscle man, broad shoulders and a narrow waist, how is this any different from a male model?" I quickly grabbed hold of her. "Keep your voice down, if Chase Zhou finds out you compared him to a male model, we're both dead." I walked over and introduced the two of them to each other. Zhou Jin nodded politely, his gaze didn't linger on Lin Jiao for more than a few seconds. When he looked at me, his eyes crinkled with a smile. "Can I call you Liv?" I nodded. Lin Jiao muttered on the side, "Why call her Liv? Shouldn't you be calling her wife?" I smiled on the surface while giving her arm a gentle pinch. She really knows how to stir up trouble. After it ended, Chase Zhou drove me home. When we arrived downstairs at my place, I tried to push the car door open, but it wouldn't budge. I turned my head and looked at him in confusion. Chase Zhou still had his hand on the steering wheel. After the wedding, should I go to your place, or you come to mine?" I blinked, first picturing my own small one-bedroom apartment in my mind. Without hesitation, I spoke up, "Let's go to your place." A faint smile seemed to play at the corners of Chase Zhou's lips. "Alright. Actually, it's not really my place. That house was bought for you as a wedding gift." I heard from them that giving a house is customary for marriage. That was something I hadn't expected. After a moment of hesitation, he finally spoke. "Should I say thank you?" Chase Zhou smiled. "No need, we're like family, what's mine is yours, and what's yours remains yours. Don't feel pressured, this is the Zhou family motto." I chuckled softly. The Zhou family is quite interesting. The wedding date is getting closer. For some reason, I still feel a bit nervous. These past 2 days, Chase Zhou has been coming to see me whenever he has time. He calls it building our relationship. He took me to the Zhou family as well. It's really quite different. It's not the same as the Su family either. The Zhou family is very lively, and the people are kind. Chase Zhou's mom held on to me tightly without letting go. She seemed to really like me. It actually made me feel a bit at a loss. Zeke Liu also brought the wedding dress over one day. I wasn't at home at the time. Su Yuan said nothing and took it. I only saw it when I got home. My gaze fell on that wedding dress I had wanted to wear more than once, and a pang of heartache rose in my chest, not because of Zeke Liu, but for the former self. Su Yuan only said one sentence, "Lid Jiang, a woman relying on herself is the most secure." The night before the wedding, I stayed at the Su family's place. There were also some relatives of the Su family. Lin Jiao, as the bridesmaid, stayed behind as well. Su Jin was very curious and kept following me around. Su Yuan was a bit reluctant, but didn't say anything. Jiang Chao secretly gave me a card. He said it was what he had secretly saved up. I accepted it with a smile. Later in the evening, Zeke Liu called. I answered but didn't speak. Zeke Liu's voice sounded cautious. "Liv, I'll pick you up tomorrow morning." I didn't answer. Instead, I asked him, "Zeke Liu, do you love me?" He answered quickly, as if eager to prove his sincerity. "I love you, really, Liv. We're getting married tomorrow, and we'll be together for the rest of our lives. I'm so happy, Liv." I cut him off. "What about Noah Lin? What are you going to do?" He didn't even hesitate, his voice sounding a bit rushed. "Liv, there's no possibility between me and her. I was just playing around, not serious, just that one time. You believed me, Liv." I flipped through the private photos Noah Lin had sent me during the day on my phone. The backgrounds weren't the same place. What he said about it being just that one time wasn't the truth either. Pretty funny. Noah Lin also sent a few messages. "Even if brother Zeke marries you, he still likes me more. You're already old and faded. I'm younger than you. Even if we get married, we'd still end up divorcing." I was somewhat puzzled. Why on earth does she like Zeke Liu so much? Just as she said, she is young and beautiful, with capital to spare. As for Zeke Liu, what does he have? A slightly plump figure. And while his looks are decent enough, they're certainly no match for those young male college students. I couldn't figure it out, so I sent a message to ask. Noah Lin took a long time to reply to me. "Zeke and I have known each other since we were very young. If I hadn't gone abroad to study later, how could it have been your turn?" I understood, so that's what it was, but this matter. Zeke Liu never mentioned it to me. There wasn't much to talk about. We just exchanged a few words before hanging up. Suddenly, I found myself wondering what Zeke Lu would do when he couldn't see the bride at the wedding tomorrow. Before I could think further, the phone rang. I picked it up and saw it was Chase Show. "What's up?" Thinking he had something important, I answered the call immediately. "Nothing much, just wondering what you're up to." Chase Show's clear and melodious voice came from the other end of the phone. "I'll come pick you up early tomorrow morning." I nodded, then remembered he couldn't see me, so I responded with a quiet Chase Show said a few more irrelevant words. A sudden thought flashed through my mind. "You're not nervous, are you, Chase Show?" The other end of the phone fell silent for a moment before Chase Show's helpless laughter came through. "I thought I wouldn't let you notice. I'm a bit nervous. But more than that, I'm excited." The corners of my lips curled up unconsciously, though I didn't realize it myself. I just found it somewhat amusing and casually said it. "It's okay, you won't be nervous next time." I didn't even realize what I had said until the words were out of my mouth. But Chase Show said plaintively, "Lid Jiang, you can't do this." I quickly realized and apologized. This damn mouth of mine can sometimes be too quick. Fortunately, Chase Show is quite easy to appease, much easier to appease than Zeke Lu. In my memory, every time I comforted Zeke Lu, I ended up feeling an indescribable sadness. Now, when I think of Zeke Lu, my heart doesn't feel as sad anymore. People, after all, must always look forward. On the wedding day, Chase Show came to pick me up early. The wedding venue was large, and there were many people. Su Yuan and Jiang Chao were also busy running around. When Chase Show carried me out of the car, my body stiffened slightly. This was the first time I had such close physical contact with Chase Show. Previously, Chase Show had always behaved like a gentleman, never crossing any boundaries. Unlike Zeke Lu, Chase Show must work out regularly. His body is rock solid, tall and slender, with large hands, holding my legs tightly. The surroundings were noisy. I leaned into Chase Show's embrace, hearing his heartbeat like a pounding drum, thumping sounds, and my own heartbeat was also accelerating, the heartbeats of two people eerily synchronized. Amid the noisy crowd, Chase Show leaned close to my ear and whispered, "You look beautiful today, Liv." This remark eased some of my nervousness. If it weren't for the inappropriate timing, I would have really wanted to ask him in return, "Wasn't I beautiful before?" Chase Show seemed to notice something in my gaze and quickly added, "Liv is beautiful every day. This guy sure knows how to survive." Before getting in the car, I looked at Jiang Chao standing at the door, secretly wiping away tears, and gave a gentle wave. "Dad, take care of yourself." The Lu family. Zeke Lu woke up very early. He barely slept all night. On one hand, he was very excited. He was about to marry the woman he loved. On the other hand, Noah Lin kept calling him and crying. He had finally managed to calm her down, after getting up and dressing neatly. There were already quite a few people at the Lu residence. Zeke Lu sent a message to Lid Jiang but never received a reply. He felt somewhat flustered inside. However, the agreed time to pick up the bride was at 5 o'clock. There's still 1 hour left. Mr. and Mrs. Lu were also busy helping out. Some colleagues from the company were there too. Some people were also whispering among themselves, "Did you know? The Zhou family is also getting married today." Which Zhou family? Which one could it be? The Zhou family from South City. Zeke Lu paused for a moment as he walked by. "Someone in the Zhou family is getting married today." The person quickly replied, "Yes, it's very sudden. There was no news about it before." A bad premonition suddenly arose in Zeke Lu's heart. Chase Zhou has never had a girlfriend. How could he suddenly get married? And hasn't he always liked? Zeke Lu simply called Chase Zhou directly. The phone rang several times, but no one answered. At 5 o'clock, he got into the car with his entourage, ready to fetch the bride. Someone arrived at the Lu family's doorstep. They happened to block the group that was about to leave. Zeke Lu stepped out of the car, his brows tightly furrowed, visibly annoyed, afraid of missing the auspicious hour. "Sorry, young Master Lu, our madam asked me to deliver a message to you. There's no need to fetch the bride." As the words fell, Zeke Lu's long-standing unease instantly amplified, his body tensing up. What happened? "Miss, Lid Jiang is already married, so you don't need to pick her up anymore." Zeke Lu felt as if these words struck him like a bolt of lightning. He stood frozen in place, pupils constricted, not even blinking, his voice hoarse. "What do you mean she's already married? I haven't even met her yet." The messenger shook his head. "I don't know, that's what the madam said." Even after the messenger had disappeared from sight, Zeke Lu remained standing motionless in the same spot. Everyone in the car rushed out and asked him what had happened. Zeke Lu thought about the sudden news of Chase Zhou's marriage. The unsettling suspicion in his heart grew stronger and stronger. He only felt his chest tightening more and more, even to the point of struggling to breathe. In a hoarse voice, he said, find out where the Zhou family is holding the wedding, although the wedding was arranged in a hurry, whether it's the venue or other aspects. The Zhou family has prepared everything exceptionally well. Chase Zhou and I stood facing each other. The MC spoke into the microphone. We took our vows together. During the ring exchange, the MC said, "Now, let the groom kiss the bride." My heart suddenly began to race. Through the veil, I watched Chase Zhou's face drawing closer. At that moment, my heartbeat peaked in speed. Chase Zhou's eyes were filled with laughter. Lifting the veil, he kissed me the moment it fell. Chase Zhou's lips were cool and soft. His pleasant scent also overwhelmed me in that instant. He merely pressed his lips lightly against mine. His eyes were very bright, until the MC started the countdown. Only at the last second of the countdown did he pull away. Leaning close to my ear, in a hoarse yet pleasant voice, he said, "The bride is mine." At that moment, my heartbeat truly quickened because of him, not out of nervousness, fear, or unease. It was because of a heartbeat. The Zhou family didn't invite many people to this wedding, only some friends and relatives, along with a few executives from the Zhou family's company. By the time Zeke Lu came looking for us, our wedding had already ended. After seeing off some guests, Chase Zhou told me to go rest. He noticed my occasional furrowed brows and hesitant steps. I nodded. The high heels were truly quite tiring. Just as I was about to turn back, a hoarse and slightly cracked voice called out from behind, "Zeke Lu's, live." I stopped in my tracks and slowly turned around. It really was him, wearing a groom's suit, though it was already somewhat disheveled by now. Chase Zhou frowned and muttered beside him, "Didn't I tell them to keep an eye on him and not let him run in here? They can't even keep one person under control." Zeke Lu rushed over. A punch landed on Chase Zhou's face. "Bastard." Chase Zhou was caught off guard and staggered from the blow. I quickly went over to support him. Turning my head to look at Zeke Lu in disbelief, "You're crazy." Zeke Lu's eyes turned red as his gaze shifted to me. When he saw the ring on my finger, his body trembled slightly, and his entire frame tensed up, as if something had struck his heart violently. His breathing seemed to stop completely at that moment. His voice tight. "You got married?" I frowned, genuinely growing impatient. "Yes, so please don't disturb me anymore." Zeke Lu's gaze at me seemed somewhat hurt. "Why? Didn't you love me the most? Why marry someone else?" It felt like I was seeing him for the first time. "Zeke Lu, you cheated on me. Remember, I don't want a man who's been tainted." He instantly felt a wave of panic, as if a hand had tightly gripped his heart. A sharp pain spread throughout his body, and his outstretched hand, trying to grasp mine, trembled slightly. "I can explain, Liv." I stared expressionlessly at the man I had loved for 10 years. He let out a faint laugh. "Zeke Lu, no matter how you explain it, you can't cover up the fact that you cheated. If you had been honest, I might have respected you more. But you're greedy, wanting to have your cake and eat it too. I'm not worth those 10 years. I said it all in one breath, giving him a deep look. "The moment you chose to cheat, you should have known clearly that we were over." Zeke Lu was left speechless, staring at me blankly, his eyes bloodshot as if he was about to cry. I truly let go in this moment. Zeke Lu did love me, it's just that it didn't stop him from seeing others. As for Noah Lin, I've already emailed Zeke Lu some of the messages Noah Lin sent me, including the explicit things she did abroad. She wants to play the innocent little white flower in her beloved's heart. But I simply refuse to comply. Moreover, I also want Zeke Lu to see clearly just how interesting the person he chose really is. Chase Zhou wiped the corner of his mouth. I glanced over. There was already a bruise forming there. That was quite a hit. I reached out and gently touched it, genuinely feeling a bit heartbroken. "Does it hurt?" Chase Zhou lowered his eyes and softly murmured an "It hurts a little." Zeke Lu's unwilling voice sounded from behind. "Do you think Chase Zhou is some kind of good guy? Do you know he likes you? He even secretly took things you've used, like some kind of pervert." I blinked in surprise and looked at Chase Zhou with confusion. "He likes me," Zeke Lu continued speaking. "Even the straws you've used, he keeps them as treasures." "What kind of pervert does this? Do you know why we're always at odds?" "It's all because he's been watching us like some kind of creep." Chase Zhou's eyes flickered with a moment of panic. "Liv, I didn't." I looked at him expressionlessly. "What do you mean?" "Nothing. You don't like me. Or you didn't take the things I've used." Chase Zhou fell silent again. I laughed in anger. "This guy. I'll settle the score with you later." Turned to look at Zeke Lu. For the first time, I felt an overwhelming disgust towards him. "Thank you for telling me about this. You can leave now." Zeke Lu was about to say something more when the security guards, who had already arrived, escorted him out. Turning back to look at Chase Zhou, I snorted, quite the hidden depths, huh? After saying that, she turned and left without paying him any attention. Chase Joe came over and tried to hold my hand. Seeing that I didn't resist, he intertwined his fingers tightly with mine. Liv, I'm not a pervert. I thought they were all things you didn't want, so, and I didn't pick up the straw you drank from to treasure it. He's slandering me. The guests were seen off by Chase Joe's parents. Meanwhile, Chase Joe and I returned to the room. As soon as he entered, he started massaging my legs. It feels weird having someone touch my leg, and I instinctively try to pull away, but Chase Joe holds me still. Let me massage it, or it'll hurt tonight. Unable to break free, I just let him do it. When did you start liking me? This is something I'm quite curious about. I don't recall having any interactions with him in my memory. Chase Joe didn't look up, massaging with great focus. It was a long time ago. I looked at him in surprise. How come I didn't know about this? Back then, your eyes were only on Zeke Liu. How could you have noticed me? I suddenly fell silent. Could it be that this guy liked me when I was still with Zeke Liu? That would explain why I didn't know. I stared at the top of Chase Joe's head and suddenly thought of something. Was it you who arranged the marriage alliance? Chase Joe paused his hand movement and slowly looked up. A smile curled at the corners of my mouth. You actually guessed it. I looked at him in surprise. So it really is you. He nodded. Liv, I like you. When I heard you broke up with Zeke Liu, I made my choice immediately. Feelings can develop over time. I don't want to miss my chance with you. I'm sorry, you can hit me or scold me. Just don't divorce me. But the Su family really is facing financial difficulties. We need this marriage alliance. I just took the initiative, that's all. I laughed. I chose this marriage alliance myself, so there's nothing for you to apologize for. Noticing his uneasy expression, I reached out and hooked my finger into his collar. You said you like me, didn't you? Show me just how much you like me. Chase Joe's body stiffened instantly, his eyes darkening profoundly as his breathing grew noticeably heavier. The voice grew hoarse. Liv, stop fooling around. Tonight. How about tonight? Then fled in panic. I burst out laughing behind them. This person is actually so innocent. Married life with Chase Joe is very happy and peaceful. It truly gives me the feeling of home. It had been a long time since I last heard any news about Zeke Liu. Chase Joe said the Liu family had gone bankrupt. Because Zeke Liu couldn't marry me due to Noah Lin, he transferred all his resentment onto Noah Lin. He even went as far as imprisoning Noah Lin. The Lin family is no ordinary small clan either. They rescued Noah Lin, tortured beyond recognition. Noah Lin's father contacted reporters and reported to the police immediately. Zeke Liu was arrested, the stock price plummeted, and rumors spread online. Some even dug up that Zeke Liu had a girlfriend of 10 years, but they broke up because he cheated. In no time, Zeke Liu became a public enemy on the internet. Within days, the company also went bankrupt. I couldn't help but feel a bit wistful. After being together for so long, I never knew Zeke Liu had such a dark side. Chase Joe, however, thought I was heartbroken. I didn't show it during the day. He kept tossing and turning me all night. In the end, I even lost my voice from screaming. Still, he didn't let me go. I've handed out flyers with him and lived together in a basement. Liv, you're truly made of water. I love it so much. Liv, why aren't you responding to me? I was so exhausted I couldn't even lift my hands, letting him scoop me up and turn me over. A muffled groan was heard. Liv, relax a little. Before finally passing out, I heard Chase Joe's deep and somewhat cautious voice. Liv, don't mention him again in the future. Okay, this person is petty and also gets jealous easily, but I quite like that about them. Chase Joe, you must always love me. Liv Jiang, I will always love you.